Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today we are taking a look at this knife from North Arm Knives. And everybody is taking a look at this knife from North Arm Knives. So I'm going to add my voice to the litany of voices that are talking about this knife right now. Definitely this guy is getting a lot of attention. It started getting a lot of attention from my good friend Nick's video, where he was really impressed with the first version of this knife. And now they've come out with version 2, and that's what this is. Now, by the time I have my full review, I will have a Gen 1 of this knife, so I'll be able to do some comparison for you when we get to that point. One of the things I'll try to answer for you there is, is it okay to buy a first gen off the secondary market or something, or should you really be getting on that waiting list? Now, let me give you a little more background here. Number one, this was sent to me by a viewer. I've got to say a huge thank you to Perry Tucker, at Perry Tucker on Instagram, for sending this along. Really appreciate it. Just super stoked to be able to check this knife out and feel what truly is one of the nicest actions that I have experienced. It is really dialed in. Now, the other thing that I have to say about this is I wouldn't be a good Canadian if I didn't point out that this is made in BC. You saw the card there from, which card did I show you? This is John. The other card is Michael. It's a father and son team working out in British Columbia, and they're doing some pretty nice work. And I've got to say, there's not a lot of, I don't want to say production. It's kind of a production knife, but there's not a lot of production knives that come out of Canada. Yeah, the Grimsmos are here, Brian Ty, Peter Rosenti, but a lot of those guys are, they're in a price point all their own, okay, up there with most custom knives. But this guy for, I think, 190 US and, what would that be? Like around 220, 225 Canadian is definitely more acquirable for most of us. And so I do really like the fact that this is coming out of Canada, that they're doing such a good job on it, and that the quality is really on point. So let's go ahead and kind of work our way through here with the features that I guess are drawing so much attention. Let me see if I can clean the fingerprints off there a little bit. There we go. So up front here, we have a S35 VN blade with those very cool milling lines. Now, I was having this discussion with a friend yesterday about whether or not there's a secondary process. I don't know if the blade comes off the mill and looks like this, or if they've got to do some other stuff to it. I suspect there's another process to get that almost mirror finish on it, which is really attractive. So the blade here is one of the things that absolutely stands out about this knife. And I think that's one of the things that people are drawn to, is getting a knife that looks, or getting a blade that looks as cool as this one and is still highly functional. The other thing, of course, that many people have commented on is the action, which is really good. For a blade this light to drop shut the way that this does is really nice. And of course, the D10 is just dialed right in. So action on this, liner lock, bearing, flipper, very spectacular. Now, in terms of the handle, we've got, this is blue, there's a bunch of colors available, but it's solid G10. There are no, let's see if I can show you, there are no liners in here. And the way they've done the liner lock is the liner lock, you can see, kind of comes down here, and look at the bottom of the screw there. So that's the screw that's holding the wire clip on. And so that's about the only, I guess the main only bit of metal that's in the rest of the handle, which does lighten this knife up an awful lot. And I really like that, because I think G10 is more than strong enough to be capable of forming that whole handle. Now, let me carry on just a little bit more. We've got the single position clip, lanyard hole, standoff construction. And so that's sort of the overall features on the knife. Let's quickly grab a size and weight, and then I'll kind of give you my thoughts about where this fits in terms of, who might be interested in a knife like this and what you might want to use it for. So overall length is going to be 7 3/4 inches. Blade length is 3 3/8. There we go. Handle length is going to be, looks like 4 3/8. That was easy. It's a little thicker, this knife. I'm going to say, as you can see there, it's nearly 5/8 of an inch thick, which is definitely more than, you know, most folding knives are around 1/2 inch. And let's grab a quick weight here. And 3 ounces on the weight. Most of you are probably familiar with those specs because, as I say, everyone has made a video about this, but just in case there's somebody out there who doesn't know those specs. Now, where do I think this fits in? What do I think of this as a folding knife? Who should buy it? Who should be interested in it? Well, honestly, this is a very lightweight, very useful knife. And so anyone who, you know, needs, you know, a good EDC that's going to be very unobtrusive, I think is going to enjoy this. Someone who really likes action, if you're one of those people who's kind of an action snob, I'm either here nor there. I like a good action. I can certainly appreciate it as a reviewer, but I carry lots of knives that, you know, I carry assisted knives, I carry flippers, I carry, you know, phosphor bronze. Action is not the only consideration for me, but I certainly enjoy it. And this knife is a great example of nearly perfect action and the detent being so dialed in. It's just really, really spectacular. So you may want it just for that aspect. Maybe you're a Canadian and you want to support a Canadian company. The one thing I would say is, to me, this is more of an EDC style folder. You know, you're not going to, or at least I wouldn't see this as sort of a hard use, heavy duty, or even tactical folder. There are other options that I would be more inclined to along those lines. But as a great everyday carry cutting tool, yeah, this is spectacular. Plus you get the quality and attention to detail that comes from a small shop. I mean, it's not a custom, but the attention to detail and the quality is really, really up there. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The full review will be coming shortly. We'll talk to you soon.